Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Bex here today to talk about my reading and channel goals for 2020. I've made a video for this every year since Les and I joined BookTube, so it's only fitting that I do one for 2020, and it's always nice to set a few goals for yourself. I don't like to weigh myself down with a lot, but I like having a list of a few that I just keep in a Word document on my computer that I can reference back to occasionally, so I don't have to keep going back to watch the video, because who wants to watch themselves over again? So it's, oh god. I have 6 goals for myself this year, which I feel is usually around where I am, so let's get started. The first one is how many books would I want to read in the year 2020. I always set this goal on Goodreads. I have since I joined the site, and for 2020 I would like to read 45 books. That's a little bit higher than 2019, which I set to 40. I think I also had the same amount for 2018, but I feel ready to push myself a little bit higher. I think the past 2 years I've read about 41, 42, but I feel like I'm right in that sweet spot where I could probably push myself to read 3 or 4 more books than I have in the past few years. So 45 it is. This next goal is one that I also set for myself last year, and that was to read 4 500+ page books that are on my TBR shelf. I am one of those people who will pick a shorter book over a longer book just because I know I can get through more shorter books and boost my numbers. And I do find large books kind of intimidating, but I also really do like to read them. So I set this goal for myself to get me to actually pick up some big books. There were a few books that I was lent from people or that I picked up that I had just purchased that were over 500 pages, but I specifically want to focus on those backlist books that have just been sitting on my shelves for forever. This leads into my third goal, which is to focus on reading the books on my TBR shelves. I don't do a ton of book hauls, but every once in a while I go a little crazy and I buy a lot of books. And for somebody that only reads 40 to 45 books a year, a 10-book haul, that's a large chunk of what I would normally get through. So I find that what I read versus how my shelves are growing, the TBR shelf stays about the same. So I want to continue focusing on picking books off of that shelf, reading them, hopefully liking them, but if not, just understanding that I can DNF them, get rid of them, and clear space for more books that I love. I do like borrowing things from the library, but sometimes I get too carried away and I start focusing on stuff from the library and not enough from my own shelves. So this is to remind me to focus on picking up books that I already own. Don't borrow too much from other people, from the library, and try not to buy too many books. To note, I don't know the exact number right now, but I believe I'm at about 90 books on my TBR shelf, which for some people is a ton, and for others it's kind of like, oh, well, that's nothing. But to me, it's kind of pushing it to the point of I don't want it to be any more than this, so I want to make sure that I'm bringing it down a bit. Number 4 is a new goal, and it's more of a channel goal, and that is to participate in the BookTube prize. This was something that happened last year for the first time, as far as I'm aware, and it took booktubers, readers from this community, and they judged books that had come out in the previous year to pick one overall winner. Last year it was just focused on fiction. This year it's fiction and nonfiction, and when I heard that they were doing nonfiction as well, I really wanted to sign up, so I did sign up. There was a couple different rounds. You could do all of them, or at least make yourself available for all of them, or you could choose a few. I think I chose 2 of the 4 in which I'd be willing to read some books to judge. So I will be participating in that. If you want some more information about what the prize is, I will link the introduction video, explanation video down below, so you can go check that out. Number 5 is to read my 10 books for 2020. I recently uploaded a video where I discussed 10 different books that I really want to prioritize next year, and so I'm going to throw that into my goals for 2020 as well as a way to keep track of my progress. I've done this a few years now, 8 for 2018, 9 for 2019, and now 10 for 2020. But it's a really nice way to kind of keep track of my progress by throwing it in my goals. That way I know how many I've actually gotten to, and I don't just sort of lose track and then look again in November and go, oh crap, I've only read 4 of them, I still have 6 more I need to read, where, well, those are all the books apparently that I need to read for the end of the year. I don't want to run into that problem, so I put that on my dock as well on my computer and kind of keep track of how many I've got through. I found that worked really well in 2019, so I want to continue that for 2020. And then my final goal is the one that I am the most hesitant about, so I think I would like it if people could comment down below regarding this. I've done this for a number of years now, and that's been to put closed captioning on all of my videos. I've sort of altered it a bit to fit what I could handle. Last year I decided only to put closed captioning on videos that featured just me, because any videos that I filmed with less, it was just way too time consuming and confusing to try to do it with 2 people talking back and forth. And I have been really good about this. Like, I've done everything that I could to do them, but it's very exhausting to do it. Half the time now, YouTube doesn't automatically generate at least a rough version of the subtitles anymore. I have no idea why it doesn't do that half the time, but it's frustrating because I'm starting from scratch and I have to type out every single line rather than having to go in and just edit a file that YouTube automatically created. So I would like to include this as my 6th goal for 2020, to continue putting closed captioning on every solo video that I do. But part of me is just kind of dreading it, because I know there's going to be a lot of times where I'm going to have to spend a few hours going through and typing up everything and then rewatching it and rechecking it and everything. So if you have run into the same problem and you have any recommendations, or if you've figured out what the heck's going on and why YouTube only generates the subtitles sometimes, that would be much appreciated if you could share those with me down below. So I'm going to make this a tentative goal because it is a really good thing to do. I know it is the right thing to do to put closed captioning on, but sometimes there's just so many other things going on, and it can be such a time suck when it doesn't work out the way you want it to begin with. It's kind of ending on a bit of a downer there, but I'm going to put this in here. I am going to put closed captioning on all of my solo videos in 2020, hopefully. Those are my 6 goals for the new year related to my personal reading as well as the YouTube channel. Please let me know what you're reading, and if you have a YouTube channel goals are for 2020. We can share and motivate each other, start with a clean slate January 1st, and get really excited about what the new year is going to bring. As always, all of our links are in the down bar. You can go check those out if you feel so inclined. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you later.